Image copyright Reuters. The U.S. plans to impose tariffs on up to $60 billion (£42.5 billion) in Chinese imports and limit the country's investment in the U.S. in retaliation for years of alleged intellectual property theft. The White House said the actions were necessary to counter unfair competition from China's state-led economy. It said years of talks had failed to produce change. China said it was ready to retaliate with necessary measures. Beijing also said it would fight to the end in any trade war with the U.S. U.S. stock markets closed lower on Thursday, as investors responded to the announcement. The Dow Jones ended the day at 23,957.89, a fall of 2.9% or 724.42 points, making it the fifth biggest points fall ever. Signing a memo related to the sanctions, Mr. Trump said the U.S. and China were negotiating and he was looking for reciprocal trade terms for American companies. He said the tariffs might be imposed on up to $60 billion in Chinese goods, boosting the number from the roughly $50 billion figure White House officials cited on Thursday morning during a briefing. What is behind the tariffs? The tariffs follow an investigation of Chinese policies ordered by Mr. Trump in August. The White House said the review found a range of unfair practices in China, including restrictions on foreign ownership that pressured foreign companies into transferring technology. The review also found evidence that China imposes unfair terms on U.S. companies, steers investments in the U.S. to strategic industries, and conducts and supports cyber attacks. The White House said it has a list of more than 1,000 products that could be targeted by tariffs of 25%. Businesses will have the opportunity to comment before the final list goes into effect. The U.S. is also exploring ways to limit Chinese investment in the U.S. and will seek to bring complaints about unfair licensing terms to the World Trade Organization, officials said. America's top trade negotiator, Robert Lighthizer, said protecting U.S. technology was critical to America's economic future. Image copyright Getty Images. Image caption America's top trade negotiator, Robert Lighthizer, said the U.S. wanted to put maximum pressure on China and minimum pressure on U.S. consumers. What has China said? On Thursday, China's Commerce Ministry said it was ready to retaliate against the new tariffs. China will not sit idly by and let its legitimate rights and interests be harmed, and will certainly take all necessary measures to resolutely defend its legitimate rights and interests, it said in a statement. The ministry also pointed to a ruling by the World Trade Organization (WTO) that found that Washington had not fully complied with the 2014 ruling against its anti-subsidy tariffs on Chinese products, including solar panels and wind towers. China's Commerce Ministry said the WTO ruling proves that the U.S. side has violated WTO rules and repeatedly abused trade remedy measures. This has seriously damaged the fair and just nature of the international trade environment, and weakened the stability of the multilateral trading system. The WTO has also ruled against China's trade practices. In January, the organization said China must lower its tariffs on broiler chickens imported from the U.S., who are the potential losers. If imposed as described, the tariffs could lead to higher costs for consumers, while retaliation would hit key sectors of the U.S. economy including agriculture and aerospace, analysts say. China was the third largest market for U.S. exports in 2016 and among the biggest buyers of American soybeans, corn, pork and aircraft. Image copyright Getty Images. On Thursday, shares of plane maker Boeing sank more than 5%. Representatives of states such as Kansas, which has a large farming base, have been among the most critical of the administration's approach. Several business groups said they agree that there is a problem, but are worried about the administration's strategy. American business wants to see solutions to these problems, not just sanctions such as unilateral tariffs that may do more harm than good, said John Frisbee, president of the U.S.-China Business Council, which represents firms that do business in China. U.S. officials acknowledged the possibility of retaliation but say China has more to lose from the relationship. The U.S. imports billions more goods from China each year than it exports, creating a deficit of about $375 billion last year that Mr. Trump has railed against. The president said Thursday he has asked China to cut that deficit by $100 billion immediately. Media playback is unsupported on your device. Media caption Trump constantly worries about the trade deficit. Should we? Is there wider support in America for the plan? Many analysts dismiss worries about the trade deficit, noting that the exchange benefits both sides. However, there is growing bipartisan concern in America about China's state-led economy and worry that China is seeking technology that could be deployed for military purposes. Congress is debating legislation that would boost the government's power to review foreign business deals, citing the threat posed by state-backed acquisition of U.S. firms. Some politicians remain critical of the administration's approach, saying Mr. Trump's bluster aggravates the situation and alienates allies who could help address the problem. I get a kind of stomp your feet